Hello and welcome to this week's version of Happily Ever Caffeinated, the wedding video series where we get stupid hyper on coffee and talk about weddings. I am your host, Jessie Stellick, founder of Photo Bohemia, and I'm here today with an amazing, wonderful wedding coordinator, Tracy Domino.
Thank you.
She's the founder and creative director of Tracy Domino Events. But you do have an effect on people. Let's do this. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so we're ready? We're good? All right. Hi.
Hello.
So we're going to talk about your world today.
Specifically, the pros and cons of using Pinterest in your wedding planning process. Don't get me wrong, I use Pinterest, we all use Pinterest. It's a really great tool to have. But I think it has been now being used in a different way than maybe it was meant to be.
Right.
And our clients are seeing some challenges with it, so I just want to save a little heartache and give some pros and cons. So we'll go with the pros first. The main pro is it really gives insight to us in what you're looking at and what your aesthetic is that you're envisioning for your wedding.
General style.
The general style. If you want white linens with green garlands down the tables, we're going to get that really clearly what you're seeing your wedding to be from your Pinterest board.
Right.
It's also, if you're out of town and you're planning long distance, it's a really great way for us to go back and forth with you with ideas without having to bombard your email.
Right.
Also, if there's things you're needing to purchase, if there's a really fun cake topper you want, or any kind of detail like that, if you want engraved cake fork or something, you're going to find that stuff on Pinterest, and it's going to give you resources, Etsy shops, just other websites where to purchase them.
And you can save it all in one place.
And you can save it all together, and you can go back to it, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
The cons, though, are multiple. When you've made a decision, you need to stop looking. Your choices should really be authentic to who you are as a couple. I'm sure when you knew you had the right fiance, you stopped looking. So think of it that way.
Yeah,
That's a much bigger decision than you knew when you had the right answer.
Right.
So if you're not ready to make the decision, don't make it. But once you make the decision, stand by it. The other thing is that when you keep pinning, you'll find ideas that are really great, but they may not all go together. And that is problematic to a planner and to the decor companies who are trying to make this be real for you in a cohesive look. If the style is rustic farmhouse, it's not going to probably work in your elaborate ballroom with crystal chandeliers. So just kind of know what your style is when pinning to not find yourself with competing styles. This is the toughest one for us as a planner, is that Pinterest does not show prices. So whether your budget is $10,000 for your wedding or $10 million for your wedding, you're not going to have any scope of knowing what something costs in a photo.
Right. And it's really easy to get excited about it. And
You can get so easily excited about something and say, that centerpiece just makes my heart skip a beat and I must have it. And then when we tell you that's $1,000 centerpiece because it's been done in New York by an incredible designer who only does multi-million-dollar weddings, that's really heartbreaking. There's a lot of stylized shoots on Pinterest, and it's really beautiful when a table has an incredible linen and gorgeous, upholstered chairs and all this really cool glassware and this beautiful charger and vintage mismatched china. Some of those ideas, while beautiful, may be either impossible to replicate in that quantity or just way costly to do.
I find it hilarious when a bride and groom will send me over their Pinterest of must-have pictures, and it's a basic pose, but it's set against the Grand Canyon.
Right.
It's like, well, your wedding won't be at the Grand Canyon.
And that's actually a perfect segue too for when you are using Pinterest to communicate with other creative partners and vendors, is that you've hired a photographer because you like their style. And if you're pinning pictures that you're saying, I must have these pictures, those may not at all be in the style of the photographer you loved and hired. And the other thing I just wanted to say is that just because someone else did a DIY project doesn't mean A, you have to do it, or B, that it's gonna come out quite the same, because the steps may not be exactly there. And you have to value your time to a certain degree and the supplies. I was trying to make an antique looking mirror for my house, and didn't want to spend the money to buy it at Pottery Barn. And after like ordering a frame and then a spray paint and then glass, and then it didn't come out right, so replacement glass, and going all around town, it really didn't save very much money in the first place. So know if you want something that is individualized, personalized project. There are great Etsy shops of really crafty people who can make certain things. Right. This is perfect for like chalkboard signs. That's really important. Yeah. Actually, any signage, anything wooden like that. There's craftsmen who can do this. Right. If you're a carpenter, awesome. Or if your husband to be is a carpenter, or your dad,
more power to him.
Or your mom, great. But if you've never touched power tools, maybe not the day to try to make your own chuppah.
We want all of your limbs intact for your wedding.
Exactly. Yeah. In the final weeks before your wedding, this is the time for professionals. No matter what your budget is, there are people who can help you, and you need to just leave that to the professionals at that point. You should not be baking your own cake. You should not be making your own flowers. Right. You should not be running the barbecue grill or whatever it's going to be.
That could be kind of pretty fun.
Whatever it is, even if it's like a very small scale welcome dinner, you should not be cooking for it the night before your wedding.
Yes. I love it. Okay, anything else you want to leave us with?
Just make sure your wedding is authentic to you. That is the best advice I can give, is make sure that whatever projects you have or whatever decor style that you decide on makes sense, and that if you took that couple away from the wedding, if another couple was inserted in, it wouldn't make sense any longer. And that is how you'll know in years to come that that was the right way to have your wedding planned for you. Whether you did it or you worked with a planner, it should always just feel authentic, and you'll be proud to host it, and your guests will love it.
You're amazing. Thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun. Cheers.
Always question with the Q. Questions help us learn things new. Question marks are very cool, especially when you're in school. Always question when you try. You'll find who, what, where, when, why. Question marks are very fun. Let's break